Hey there, Jesus Freak. This is a response video to your dendrophilian is a pedophile video. The reason why sex with a child is wrong is because it's with a child. Now, I don't mean sex with someone with 13 or under the legal age limit is necessarily wrong, but I mean sex with a child is wrong. Now, we need to think about the definition of child. A child is a person who cannot weigh the consequences of their actions, and a person who cannot rationally facilitate what they perceive. So in a way, dendrophilian is right. We raise our children on illusions, hindering and destroying the child's ability to understand what reality is. We teach our children to believe in irrational things, such as Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. We tell them to be skeptical of their senses when it's all they have to determine reality. For instance, let's say you and I were sitting in a field, and there's a big, gigantic tree in the field. And I asked you the question, how do you prove to me that that tree exists? When determining reality, we have to make the assumption that our perceptions are real. To even make the statement that there are illusions suggests that there are not illusions, and that there has to be something in which we use to determine reality, and that would be our senses. So when we tell kids things like, oh, sex is some scary, bullshit story that it's really not, and the child is raised on that idea, they will always be skeptical of sex, and they will always be their ability to understand or determine for themselves what sex is always going to be hindered. Now, I'm not suggesting you molest your newborn son, but I'm suggesting you help them build a better rational facility and help them understand better what they are perceiving, so they do not stay in childhood for a long period of time, like into their 30s. So the longer a person cannot identify with reality, the longer that person will stay a child. There are people who are at the age of 34 who have sex for the first time and are mentally distraught because they were living under the illusion of what they thought sex was, and so when they experience it for the first time, they feel guilt and self-pity, which isn't a surprise. But this isn't to go without saying that I think the age law should be lifted. I'm glad that they enforce a legal age, because I couldn't imagine if the government was to determine who is rational enough to be considered an adult and who isn't. That would just be absolutely absurd.